Now, this is obviously a Masonic symbol. The Masons have identified their organization with this many times. I mean, it's on the back of the US dollar. That's clear. A lot of the founding fathers, a lot of the presidents were Masonic, Freemason dudes, high-ranking degrees, things like that. Here's a picture of Aleister Crowley here, one of the most notable occultists of the last century, I guess, is what you would say. He's honoring the Masons here. He's also holding up his two forearms, which represent the Pillars of Boaz, at least I assume that's what that means, which is another Masonic symbol. They love the Pillars of Boaz. That has to do with Solomon and the temple that he built and things like that. And really, when you look into Masonry, it has a lot to do with Solomon, King Solomon from the Bible, the son of David. One of the primary reasons Solomon was, I would argue, idolized by the Masons is because of his wisdom. The Lord blessed him with a wisdom and understanding. It says in one of the verses, I can put it up here, it says that he was made wise unlike any other man. It's essentially saying there's no man before him that was like him, and there will be no man after him that is like him. And there's a lot of other things. It talks about his wealth. I mean, he's also one of the wealthiest men to ever live. He had various gold mines, and he was just good with trade and commerce and things like that. He was very wise. Obviously one of God's commands to the Israelites was to not mix with the surrounding nations' women, not to marry their daughters, or vice versa for the women not to marry the men. And the primary reason was because of deities and what gods they worshipped. God did not like these deities. He considered them false. Solomon overrode that. He got married to these women anyways. It says in the Bible, I can pull the verse up, I'll put it up here. It talks about him mixing with these women and following their gods and doing things that the Lord was not pleased with. It was not pleasing in his sight. So he was rebelling at some point against God. So sometime later in the Renaissance era, this is long after Solomon, the Lesser Keys of Solomon come out, the Seals of Solomon, all this angel magic and demonolatry. And then you also have the Jewish Kabbalah that talks about Solomon using his seal to control demons. He had a ring with his seal on it, and he would point it at the demons, and supposedly they would be forced to listen to him. They would have to do his bidding, his will. I really just said all this to establish a base. What are the Masons looking at? What are they really into? Well, it's paganism. They want a bunch of wisdom. They're working with fallen entities, things like that. That's the base of it. If you look at the Eye of Providence, it has an Egyptian base, the pyramid, right? It also has an eye that has the ability to illuminate those that it looks at. But let's specifically look at Egypt and the deities they worship. For instance, there's Horus. He uses an eye symbol. And there's Ra. He also uses the eye symbol. I want to focus on Ra. He's the sun god. He has the ability to illuminate. He has light with him. He is their sun god. And think about the term Illuminati. Illumination has to do with illuminating something, showing light. Really, if you have eyes and ears, you can kind of discover the mystery of who it is. So let's talk about the checkerboard floors in these Masonic temples. Let's talk about duality. The mixing of good and evil to enlighten yourself to a higher position, a godlike position. You say, well, where's the basis of that? Well, think about the Garden of Eden. Think about the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Think about the serpent tempting Eve. If you eat of this fruit, you'll be like God. There is another widely known light bearer. In Latin, the name Lucifer translates to light bearer. Now, those who shine light probably have a really good sight because they can see what's hidden, they can see what's in the darkness. So the ability to illuminate is also tied in with the ability of sight. Here you have Lucifer, looking with a prideful gaze. They say he's the demon of pride. Here he is with a gaze. He has one eye hidden. And I can see these base level Masons saying, well, are you saying that we're following Lucifer? We're not even aware of this. Yeah, well, I think most of the base level Masons are probably just cops that work 512s and don't have the time to even look into this stuff. Most men want brotherhood. Most men want camaraderie. Most men want power, a powerful logo, a powerful organization that you can tie yourself to. And when a bunch of judges, governors, senators, police officers, mayors, and world leaders get in a room, shut the doors, and lock them, Well, they're probably talking about something that they should not be talking about. Are all the Masons a bunch of Luciferians? No. But they are serving Luciferians unknowingly. They're serving the Watchers. They're illuminated by the one who is the light bearer. The one who brings the light illuminates them, enlightens them.